Thank you. I'm glad to be here and share with you. As you mentioned, my name is Marie Sontag. I live in DFW area. I write middle grade and young adult historical fiction. My background is I was a teacher for many, many years in California. And then I love education and I love technology and social studies and music. So I got a BA in social studies, minored in music. Then I got a master's in technology, educational technology, and then a PhD in instructional design. So I just love education, I love learning, and I love kids. So put that together, that's why I'm writing middle grade and young adult historical fiction. My mantra or my motto is bringing the past to life, one adventure at a time. So the adventure that I'm sharing about today is, actually I can go ahead and do a screen share for a sec. A book that just came out this past October, and it's called California Trail Discovered. It's book one of the Whitcomb Discovery. It's book two, hopefully will be out next year. In this particular book, I wanted to do research on who were the first whites to actually go into Yosemite Valley back during the gold rush days. And I discovered that the character was not very well known, but this is an image of him here. His name is James Savage, and he was from Illinois. First was going to go to the Oregon country, but then changed paths before they reached that. He's a historical figure. My main character, since I'm writing for middle grade, is a 13-year-old orphan who travels the Oregon Trail with Jim as his guardian. And then he has a younger sister, Hannah, who's not pictured here. Along the trail, it turns out historically, James Savage was on the same wagon train as the Donner Party, although he's not Donner Party. This figure here represents Virginia Reed, who was only 12 at the time and was also a member of the Donner Party. So in the story, the fictional character meets the historical character, and she wants to be friends with him and his little sister, but he doesn't want to be friends. His goal is to discover who murdered his parents, and he can't do that because he has to move west, which he doesn't want to do. So that's his dilemma initially. So he doesn't want to be friends with her. He doesn't want to travel on the train. He just wants to take care of his little sister and to survive long enough to be able to grow up enough, get enough money, go back to Illinois and find out who murdered his parents. In this book, I also included STEAM lessons. I have links to where teachers can go or homeschoolers can go to find lessons that tie into the different chapters. In the beginning, there's a craft to create a covered wagon with cardboard or whatever materials in it. Goes item by item, how to do it, how the teachers can do it, but they have to use the design process, engineering design process, which is what STEAM is based on. So by going through the projects, they learn more. The teachers, even if they don't know that much about STEAM, they can learn about it as they give the lessons to the students or homeschoolers, or even kids who want to do extra material. So that's very fun that that's in there. Because I'm also was a band teacher and a choir teacher, the arts are in there. So it's STEAM, not just STEM. It has the A for arts. And so there are some lessons in there. Oh, let me turn this on. Some lessons in there about music that relate. For example, I have a whole lesson on the trail from the Grand Canyon Suite. So it kind of ties in on the trail, and kids learn more about music through that as they go through the book. Also, I mentioned there's the links. Then there's also links to videos. So if you have the ebook, there's hot links, which go to videos of the places I was able to visit in California and on the Oregon Trail that relate both to this book and will relate to book two. So that's kind of cool. I think making it more interactive. Here's one slide of, it's called Parting of the Ways. So you can actually physically go on the Oregon Trail and see where once people from the east were coming west, the Oregon people go to the right, and those heading to California actually take this trail to the left. So this is where Daniel splits off with the people that are going to Oregon, and his group and the Donner Party go to the left. It doesn't tell the story dramatically about the Donner Party, but it hints at it and shows why they ended up the way they did. My character doesn't go along with the Donner Party because the Donner Party wants to take a shortcut. So that's touched on in there as well. It's kind of fun. So that's my newest release. Let me go ahead and stop sharing. As far as what else I've published, my other series I really love, which was my first one, it's called Ancient Elements series. And this was the first book of that. This one is middle grade. The main character is 12 and he's in ancient Mesopotamia. When I taught sixth grade in California, that's one of our social studies topics is ancient Mesopotamia. And there's not much written on that, at least in historical fiction for middle grade. And as a language arts social studies teacher, I like to bring those two language arts into the social studies. So I looked for books in language arts we could read relating to our social studies topic. And since I can't find any, I thought, well, maybe I could write one. And I mentioned earlier that I was this is my bronze dagger. It's from the time of Hammurabi. And I saw it, yeah, very cool. I saw it at an antiquity store and I asked my husband if I could buy it because wouldn't that be cool for the kids to touch this, something that was on the earth at the time they're learning about. And he said, no. So later I was able to buy it. And when I take this into the classrooms, I explain, actually go into the science part of it as well, that it's made of copper and tin. And then I asked them, why do you think it's called the Ancient Elements series? And it's because each book has an element in the periodic tables. Book 2 is the alabaster jar, which alabaster is made of elements in the periodic table. And so that one is another element. And inside, I didn't show this the first time I shared, inside it has black. And my antiquities dealer said, when I asked him, I want an alabaster jar for book 2, he said, I don't know if you'll like it because it's black inside. I said, that's awesome, because that shows it was made for Egyptians who would use the coal to color their eyes. And so my character, female protagonist in book 2, does that. She is from Mesopotamia, but she wants to become more Egyptian. So it talks about her using the coal from the alabaster jar. So that just was neat that it related. And then book 3 in that Ancient Elements series is the silver coin. So again, another element. And that my male protagonist goes from Egypt to Crete and learns a little bit about Midas and the Greeks, and then goes to Cyprus and then eventually Phoenicia, because his goal in the whole story is to find his uncle. His mother's dead, his father's wicked, and actually it winds up with him reuniting with his father. And won't be able to see much with this. This is the Phoenician coin, which is obviously from the time of the Phoenicians. So the kids get to see these actual artifacts, touch them, hold them. It's very fun. My last one I'll share real quick is called Rising Hope. I'm going to republish this. I got the rights back from the publisher and I've updated it, but it's about the Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts in Poland, who in World War II helped to wanted to push the Germans from Warsaw, but what they went through is they tried to work with the underground, and has historical and fictional characters in it. So the back shows pictures of who was historical and who was not, so you can keep track. And it has maps in it.